Turner syndrome by Abby, Josh, and Taylor. Turner syndrome, also known as TS45X, monosomy X, or Ulrich-Turner syndrome, is a chromosomal condition specific to female sex chromosomes. Females who are born with Turner syndrome are born with a partially missing X chromosome or a complete missing X chromosome. Shown in the images on the left is a woman who has Turner syndrome. Image A and B show a webbed neck from both the frontal view and the back view. Image C shows a side view and a low hairline. Later in the presentation, other features of Turner syndrome will be discussed. Turner syndrome is a result of non-disjunction. Non-disjunction is the incorrect separation of homologous chromosomes during anaphase 1 or sister chromatids during anaphase 2. There are no relative or actual causes of Turner syndrome other than it is a random occurrence in cell division. Look at the Punnett square on the right. It shows the effect of non-disjunction and how it affects the mother's eggs as it is passed down to her offspring. The Punnett square also shows other genetic disorders such as triple X syndrome and Klinefelter syndrome. If you take a look at the phases of meiosis in the image shown, both anaphase 1 and anaphase 2 are the phases in which chromosomes are pulled apart or separated. When the chromosomes or chromatids are pulled apart incorrectly, it can cause the creation of additional chromosomes or the loss of chromosomes. In the case of Turner syndrome, chromosomes/chromatids are incorrectly pulled apart, causing a loss or partially second sex chromosome. Because Turner syndrome is caused by a random occurrence, it cannot be passed down or inherited. The infertility of the women suffering from Turner syndrome also causes the future mother to not be able to bear children. Therefore, Turner syndrome cannot be passed down. Turner syndrome is a result of a partial or complete deletion of an X chromosome. A deletion mutation is a type of frame shift mutation because one or more nucleotides are deleted, shifting the codon translation. In the image, a deletion mutation is being shown on a chromosome. Part of the genetic material is being deleted, causing the shortened chromosome. This is what ultimately happens when one with Turner syndrome is born with a partially X chromosome. Aneuploidy is the occurrence of an abnormal amount of chromosomes within a cell. Aneuploidies are one of the results of a deletion mutation. TES is a form of monosomy. A monosomy is an aneuploidy with the presence of only one chromosome within a pair. In the image, a genetic makeup of a person is shown. The purple is showing having all 46 chromosomes, and the pink is shown to have a missing X chromosome. The missing X chromosome is what results in the name monosomy. Karyotyping is the action of photographing all of a person's chromosomes within a cell. They are laid out from longest to shortest with sex chromosomes presented at the end. Here is a photo of a karyotype of a female who suffers with Turner syndrome. As you can see, in the bottom right corner of the photo, there is a single X chromosome. This can differ from every female with Turner syndrome. The karyotype of a person with Turner syndrome is 45X. This represents the total number of chromosomes and the sex chromosome in which a person has. In the normal karyotype of a female with 46 chromosomes, it is said to be 46 with two X's, since both sex chromosomes are present. There are no risk factors that may cause a female to be born with Turner syndrome. It is only caused by random occurrence. One in 2,000 females are affected by Turner syndrome, and it is more common in pregnancies that do not survive. An example would be a miscarriage or stillbirth. In North Carolina, Caucasians are as susceptible to have Turner syndrome as American Indians at an average of 2.5 per every 10,000 female live births. In North Carolina, the race less susceptible to Turner syndrome are African Americans and Asians with an average of 0.9 to 1 per every 10,000 female live births. North Carolina, the average is 2.2 people per every 10,000 female live births. More than 70,000 women in the United States have Turner syndrome. In the image, it is showing the height differences between a normal child and a girl with Turner syndrome. To use this chart, find the age of the child and how tall she is in inches. Connect the point and it will show the percentile in which the child is compared to other kids the same age. The SHOX gene is the gene responsible for the height and stature in which one has. Females with Turner syndrome are shorter in stature because, unlike other children, they only have one copy of the gene instead of the normal two. The gene is not strong enough in the body, and this is what results in short stature. Clinical features of Turner syndrome are both internal and external. Some of the internal features of Turner syndrome include heart defects, vision loss, hearing loss, kidney problems, skeletal abnormalities, and infertility. In the image, some of the external features include a webbed neck, short stature, puffiness or swelling of the hands and feet, and a low hairline on the back of the neck. Clinical features vary depending on the person, but the most common feature among all people with Turner syndrome is short stature. Some tests may include karyotyping, chorionic villus sampling, amniocentesis, and MRIs. Karyotyping is done with a blood test. Chorionic villus sampling is the procedure of taking a small piece of tissue from the placenta, which contains the same genetic information as the baby. This information will then be sent for chromosomal studies to understand the child's genetic information. An amniocentesis is the process of taking a sample of amniotic fluid from the uterus. When the baby sheds cells into the amniotic sac, the chromosomes can be studied. MRIs help assess the individual for the presence of symptoms associated with Turner syndrome. These can include liver, kidney, and heart abnormalities. There are no specific treatments known to help fix or keep females from being born with Turner syndrome, but there are a few different treatment options to relieve the person of external clinical features. At a young age, girls can be put on estrogen replacement therapy or ERT to help their body go through and experience puberty. This will help the widening of the hips, the formation of breasts, and might cause the girl to have periods. One may also be able to take human growth hormones to very slightly help their short stature that is caused by Turner syndrome. Some long-term complications include infertility, high blood pressure, obesity, thyroid problems, osteoporosis, and hearing problems. This video is produced by the Turner Syndrome Society of the United States. It showcases the history and mission of the society. In this video, it also gives an overview of the disorder and who the society aids to help.
I'm Cindy Skurlock, the Executive Director of the Turner Syndrome Society of the United States and the mom of a teenager with TS. Our organization was created in 1987 by a few women who were living with Turner Syndrome, or as we call it, TS. Doctors couldn't answer many of their questions, so hearing stories and experiences of others wasn't just social, it was necessary for their health. Our mission is to create awareness, promote research, and provide support for all persons touched by Turner syndrome. Over the years, our society has impacted the medical community, the National Institutes of Health, the FDA, and more. We're the largest organization worldwide representing and advocating for those with TS. Turner syndrome is a chromosome disorder that affects 1 out of every 2,500 females, but it also touches the lives of parents, siblings, significant others, and more. It can affect organs such as the heart and kidneys, as well as issues related to puberty, fertility, learning, hearing, and social skills.
Both of the studies of research were found on clinicaltrials.gov. The first research study studies the correlation between genotype and phenotype. The goal of the study was to identify the genes responsible for the medical problems associated with the disorder. The study did not help identify the genes associated with the medical problems, but researchers hope it will improve the treatment and diagnosis of women with Turner syndrome and further the understanding of gene dosage effects as an entirety. The second research study studies the long-term effects of growth hormone treatments on height and skeletal development. The purpose of the study is to determine if taking 2 years of hormone treatments before the age of 6 will help achieve greater height when an adult opposed to those who do not receive growth hormones. This video is produced by Cincinnati Children's as they follow a girl named Peyton who has Turner syndrome. This video is produced to show the life of one who has Turner syndrome and how it may not be any different from one who does not have the disorder.
My oldest daughter had a friend who has Turner syndrome, and she came home and said, "You really need to have Peyton checked," because Peyton was so tiny and she had had lots of ear infections and had trouble eating when she was little. And she said she just thought it sounded like the story that her friend was telling her.
The Crummins live in northern Kentucky, so they brought Peyton to the Turner Syndrome Center at Cincinnati Children's, which happens to be the largest Turner Syndrome Center in the country. The center sees children of all ages, as well as adults.
I was 8 years old, and I was in 3rd grade when I was diagnosed.
It's a clinical condition that is characterized by loss of all or part of one of the 2 sex chromosomes that girls have.
The most universal characteristic of Turner syndrome is short stature, but it also affects fertility, as well as the heart, kidneys, ears, autoimmune, and digestive systems. Behavioral issues are common too.
Dr. B and everybody up there at the clinic did a very, very good job of kind of laying it out and explaining to us.
The average age of diagnosis in the United States is close to 9 years. One of our major objectives is to also, through education of the medical field and the medical community, is to decrease the age of diagnosis.
If Turner syndrome is diagnosed early enough, girls can take growth hormones, which can prevent extremely short stature. Peyton, now 10, has been taking them since diagnosis and may grow to 5 feet.
She doesn't have any physical limitations other than being short.
Yep.
She's very active. She's very fit. She's all muscles.
For Peyton, I'll probably
Now let's check your knowledge. Log on to Socrative or use the tiny URL above and enter the room code. The room code is TS Group 5. Lowercase and uppercase letters do not matter. Good luck!